I'd waited a long time to do a movie musical, and I wanted certainly to put myself up there. And I actually had a meeting with Tom before it even signed on to this. I said, I want to audition. He's like, whoa, fella, settle down.
Approaching this was I wanted to do it live all the way through, and from the very beginning.
I did have an idea of what I wanted to do, like you chart a performance. I kind of looked at within the song to kind of figure out what was going on and try to take this amazing, iconic piece of music and translate it into the language of film. And then we got to the day, and of course, as an actor, all you want to do is all that preparation and then let go. And then just, and I heard Sally Field describe it. She said, you know, skittering along the surface, but all you want to do is fly. And I wanted to fly that day so bad, and I couldn't, and I couldn't, and I couldn't. And then Tom came up to me and I said, I can't, and he was so kind. And then he just said, it's not an iconic song, it's a howl.
I loved singing when I was a kid. I sang at school, and then as I started acting, in fact, I was in Cameron Mackintosh's production of Oliver when I was about 10 years old. I played the 14th urchin to the left, I think. But I told him this at the audition, but he had no memory of me. Clearly didn't make a big impact. But no, I hadn't sung for about 10 years, but that wonderful thing, as I'm sure everyone here knows with filmmaking, is that when you get a part, you get the greatest professionals in the world to help you. And on this, you know, as well as physical transformations for these guys, I didn't have to go under any of that, but certainly what I had to do was what felt like a muscular transformation in order to be able to have the stamina to sing these songs take after take, maybe 20, 30 takes at a time. And that was a 4 or 5 month period with a guy called Mark Malin, and it was funny actually, a lot of the vocal exercises that we did daily were like something out of the King's Speech. They often weren't sung, they were involved strengthening your tongue muscle and things at the back of your tongue muscle in order to be able to have a sort of marathon-like stamina.
I think lip syncing to playback is one of the reasons why more people haven't embraced the movie musical form. You know, I mean, at its best, you forgive it and you go with it. At its worst, it's deeply embarrassing to watch. When the actors are in control of the tempo, it gives the power back to the actors to do what they do best. Because great acting, you have to be in control of the medium of time. So, you know, if Eddie needs to take a moment for an idea or an emotion to form in his eyes before he can sing, so it's like he's had the thought before he's singing it.
It actually spent 18 months working on the show and unpacking it, finding out all the things that weren't actually working in the show. It's a fantastic show, but a lot of character and plot developments don't really work their way through. So we went back to the novel to look at some of the source material.
We went through it in depth. We looked at all of the, obviously Victor Hugo, the research. But when it came to the day, Tom just had a way of giving a sentence. And with the soliloquy, I always thought this is a tough thing. It's right at the beginning of the piece. In a way, you never see him lower. You never see a lower point for the character. And structurally, normally you'd get that somewhere near the end or in the third act. And Tom said to me, he goes, Hugh, I've never really believed on stage that convict, 5 minutes later in screen time or stage time, is the mayor of the town. I need to believe that something is tapped into so elementally in that song that this power rises from within, that I feel that anything is possible. And right in that moment, it went from being probably the most daunting song to one of the greatest opportunities I felt I've ever had.
Hugh was so relaxed expressing himself through song that you never yearned for him to speak. And that's actually pivotal. If you can find those actors who are so at home expressing themselves through song, then you don't keep remembering that perhaps they could be talking.
I adore Russell, and Russell was he was the cast glue. He was the one who kind of came in, and we were all a little overwhelmed and intimidated by what we'd had to do, but also being really nice about it and really eager. And Russell just came in, kind of said, right, coming over for dinner. We're going to talk all this through. And we all just hung out, and he got us to all relax with it. And you talked about relaxing with it. Well, it was a key part for us to not only be able to be relaxed with the material, but be relaxed with each other. So that way, Hugh wasn't just comfortable communicating through song. I was comfortable listening through song. And the way we listen to music is so different than the way we listen to only dialogue.
I've done quite a lot of theatre in my life, and every day was like an opening night and a closing night all at once, because you woke up in the morning, I'd look at my pillow and think, when I put my head back down on you, I may never sing Bring Him Home Again.
And why I wanted to do this film is at the centre of it, it faces head-on the elephant in the room for all of us, which is the inevitability of our own decline and death. And it somehow manages to say there is a way of doing it where you can make your peace with it and you can transcend it, and that way is through love. And in that line, when he says to look on the face of love is to see the face of God, to me that's the centre of the film. This is a love story. This is about a woman who fights to save her child and will sacrifice her everything, including her body, for love. This is about a man who takes care of this child and will sacrifice everything for love. And the only way to make sense of death is through love and being loving in that moment. And that's why I wanted to make the film.